How much money do you need for an annuity? That's the question, really? That assumes that you need an annuity. Don't assume you might not need an annuity. I know, Stan the Annuity Man, #1 agent in the country, sell more annuities than anybody on the planet, and I'm telling you, you might not need one. Because they're not for everybody. So we're going to talk about today, how do you determine if you even need an annuity and how much money you need, etc. It really doesn't come down, to money, in my opinion. It comes down to what you're trying to solve for. Now, obviously, money plays a role because, the guarantees are based on how much money you put in. So the more money you put in, the more guarantees you're going to get, etc. But if you don't have a ton of money out there, that doesn't mean you can't own an annuity and you can't have an annuity that really benefits your situation. The reverse is also true, that if you're like, Johnny Big Bucks out there and you have $1 zillion, that an annuity might fit as well. Not all the time, but some of the time. So let's throw the money part out for a second. Let's dig deeper on whether you even need an annuity. And this will be quick, informative. I'll do the best I can to drag all that information out of my head. But for whatever I missed, this is called, what I'm holding in my hand, it looks like cards, right? This is the full house of annuity information. So I'm at Vegas, I'm sitting at the table with this, and people are like, what is that? I said, it's the full house of annuity information, of which I'm going to send to you. So hang in there with me and I'll tell you how to do that at the end of the video. All right, let's get down to little basics. Let's do quick basics here on what is an annuity. It's a contract. It's a transfer of risk. Annuities started in the Roman times to pay the dutiful Roman soldiers a pension type payment for them and their family, which is kind of cool. But let's talk about how you even determine if you need an annuity. I've come up with a couple easy to remember things that can help you in that process. Number one is the acronym PIL, which is Principal Protection, Income for Life, Legacy, and Long-Term Care. So P is Principal Protection, L. I is Income for Life, L is Legacy, leaving money to your heirs when you die, and the other is Long-Term Care, Confinement Care. In my opinion, Stan the Annuity Man, if you do not need to solve for one or more of those specific things contractually, then you do not need an annuity. Pretty simple. In my opinion, in a perfect world, people looking for real stock market growth, like whiz-bang Apple growth, you really don't need an annuity. Now, there's some annuities out there that kind of address some market, like variable annuities address market growth, and there's some good ones out there if you want to dig. But in my perfect world, I think you should own annuities for what they will do, not what they might do, and will do are the contractual guarantees. Now, the other thing that I've come up with is a very easy to understand 2 questions that you need to ask yourself and answer, either verbally or in your head. Here's the first question. What do you want the money to contractually do? Pretty simple, right? And then when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? So let's do a couple examples. Okay, Stan, what do I want the money contractually to do? I want income to start in 5 years. Okay, great. So you answered both at the same time. You want income, that's the first one, and then second, you need to start in 5 years. Well, that really comes down to 2 types of annuities, deferred income annuities or income riders. Here's another one. What do you want the money contractually to do? I want to protect my principal. Okay, when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? Now. Okay, those are the 2. Now you're down to 2 products. Multi-year guarantee annuities, which are fixed rate annuities, or indexed annuities, which are also CD type annuities as well. So that's how it works, and that's how simple it is. So remember PIL and the 2 questions to even decide if you need an annuity. Okay, so I get a call the other day. Some guy watched one of my YouTube videos and was so excited that he contacted me at stantheannuityman.com, and I ran the quote. And it was a big quote. This is multiple hundred thousands of dollars, approaching $1 million. And so sent him the quote, got him on the phone, and we talked about it. And he said, hey, that's a good guarantee. And I'm like, well, but tell me a little bit more about your situation. How much income do you need? And he told me, he had a pension from a previous employer, and he's getting Social Security. So he had some income coming in, he had some rental properties. I said, what's the gap? What's the gap? And he goes, well, it's like $4,222 a month I need to fill. Well, the quote I just ran for him was for way more than that on a guarantee basis. So my question to him was, why are you solving for more income than you need And his answer was, that's a good question. And what happened at the end of the day is we did less. We filled in that gap. He kept the rest of his money, in other investments. In other words, kept the powder dry. And if there's inflation in the future, then we can go back and we can buy an immediate annuity to address that inflation at that time if there is inflation. But he was pretty happy because he went from saying, hey, let's put in $800,000 to me asking one question and say, you know what, it might be more prudent to do $400,000 because we're trying to fill an income gap. Remember, it's a transfer risk lifetime income stream based on your life expectancy or expectancies at the time you take the payment. But reverse engineering the quote might be a better solution than going lump sum. We can show you both, have the conversation, and then you can make a good decision. All right, so how much money? How much money you got on you right now? Pull out your wallet. Okay, that's not enough for an annuity. Okay, all kidding aside. How much money do you need for an annuity? There's no good answers. I always tell people, there's no good answers with annuities, just bad sales pitches. These are contracts. Don't get pitched. You're going to buy annuity for what it will do, not what it might do. So, how much money do you need? It really comes down to what you're trying to solve for, right? We talked about the pill. We talked about the 2 questions. Understand also that an annuity type, regardless of type, you can put it inside of any type of account. Type, right? IRA, non-IRA, non-qualified, which is another word for non-IRA, and then Roth IRA. It depends. Whatever you want to use, we can quote that. Those are taxable accounts, so it really comes down to how that money is going to be taxed when you take it out. But you can use any type, and we can quote all carriers based on your specific situation. So, how much money do you need? Don't ask anyone but me that, okay? If you ask a lot of people that, they'll say, well, you need this much. No, you don't. There's no perfect answer to that. What you need to do is ask the 2 questions, think of the pill, and decide if an annuity is right for you, and then what proportion. Okay, you made it. You're here. Yay! Yay! Class is about over. I would encourage you to watch this video. I did a really interesting video on how interest rates affect annuities because everyone's like, what's happening with interest rates? I shouldn't buy one. That's my client voice. Anyway, I have no clients that sound like that, but I just like saying that because I'm from the South, and that's how like my uncle talked. He'd like sit on the porch and go, yeah, just hot as heck out there, son. But I love that voice. So, long story short, you're at the finish line. Go watch that. That's actually a good one, how interest rates affect annuities. I like that one. I mean, I did a lot of work on that one. I did a lot of work on this one. Hit the subscribe button. I do these videos every single day, which is what happens when you're married for 31 years, and that's what happens. I mean, you just do videos, just wave to the wife and just do the video. What are you doing? I'm doing videos. Oh, okay. See you later. See this gold package? I'm going to mail it to you with these. See these? Look at that. See that? See that? See that? I'm about done. There's 6 of them. There's 6 of them. I'm a busy little writing beaver. I'm gonna send them all to you. Hey, click the more info button down there. See that? I'll wait for you. See it? Click. Drop down and you see a place where you can hit a link to put in your information. Do that, but also don't hesitate to contact us, schedule a call with us, get a quote from us, interact with us, and I'll see you tomorrow because I'm going to do another video. Check you next time.